Ataru Moroboshi is the protagonist of Urusei Yatsura, a character loved and despised by many, and while I like Ataru a lot, I have to say the criticisms are legit. This guy is by far one of the most divisive characters in anime history just due to all the different ways he conducts himself in the series. But there's more to him than just that, so without further ado, let's break it down. Today we'll be discussing 12 facts about Ataru Moroboshi, the unluckiest man on Earth. Number 1. It seems that from the get-go, Ataru has it rough. Born on April 4th, Friday the 13th, he has the distinction of 2 unlucky numbers behind his name, as well as the fact that he was born during one of Japan's many natural disasters, an earthquake in this case. To make matters worse, everything that could be considered misfortune crosses his path, like Cherry, the meddling monk, being selected to save Earth from alien invaders in Chapter 1, and being in a forced engagement with an alien girl who bears a jealous temper and electrocutes him on a daily basis. And though he sometimes is a glutton for punishment, all of these factors point to exceptions rather than the rule. Number 2. Ataru is a textbook tsundere when it comes to Lum's affection. You can see in many instances that he does care for Lum, but he hides this from her attention normally, opting to ignore or berate her instead. However, even Lum sees many times that whenever she's gone, he misses her desperately, and a few times he's even expressed this as they grow closer. Ataru's only cried a couple of times in the series, which makes it all the more meaningful when he breaks down and lets it all out, and it's nice to see him put down his barriers once in a while and be honest with people. It makes you feel like you know him better. Number 3. Ataru is lecherous, and he is pretty open with the definition of flirtation. He can often be seen talking, eyeing, or straight up grabbing girls in ways that are highly questionable. However, Ataru always affirms one fact. He never hits girls. Never. This is acknowledged by the girls at Tomobigi High several times. Ataru grabs girls many times but never tries to hurt them. It's against his moral principles. This is most obvious in the chapter The Gloves of Love and War, in which Ataru puts on an enchanted boxing glove that automatically makes him punch people. When Lum falls in the glove's path, Ataru throws his own head out to protect hers, ending in him repeatedly getting bashed in the face by his own hand. When Lum is touched by this, he exclaims to her that it's not personal to her, he just would never hit any girl. Good on him. Number 4. Ataru's mother, while dissing her son all the time and wishing she didn't birth him, is actually quite close to him. Ataru might seem like the kind of guy who just wants to go hit on girls and not spend time with family, but in reality he dislikes it when they leave him alone in the house, and he has some genuine if not hilarious and heartfelt interactions with his parents throughout the series. He's definitely his mom's son, even if he's really good at embarrassing her all the time. Nevertheless, he enjoys his family time through and through. Number 5. Originally, when Urusei Yatsura began, Ataru was supposed to be with Shinobu and Lum was just a side character. However, fans loved Lum and lobbied for her return so much that Takahashi expanded her role, and eventually Ataru and Lum became the mainstay reluctant couple in the series, while Shinobu found love elsewhere. Number 6. Ataru loves food. The dude pretty much eats everything. He'll eat dog food if a pretty girl gives it to him. Like that time he ate spoiled bento from Mendo's younger sister, Ryoko. He'll eat food sitting on the ground, left on tables, and the only cooking he won't eat is Lum's alien food. Number 7. Despite his love for food, Ataru is not the guy you'd want to go to dinner with for one main reason. He's really stingy. Of the 66 total times he buys food in the original manga, only twice does he actually treat others. Once buying an ice cream for his future son in Volume 1, and then a pile of baked potatoes as an apology to Lum in Volume 13, Chapter 5. So it can be said that he does buy food for others sometimes, but only when it really counts. Number 8. Toshio Furukawa is the original voice actor for Ataru, which I felt has always been a great match for the divisive youngster. Furukawa is an esteemed veteran in the world of voice acting as well. He's voiced Piccolo in Dragon Ball, Sakamoto in Meizani Koku, and dozens of other IPs over the decades. He is certainly a legend today among seiyuu. Number 9. In a 1987 interview, Takahashi stated that she got the name Ataru from the younger brother of the famous pitcher, Suguru Egawa. She thought it was a nice name, so she used it. Also, Suguru Egawa himself has done voice acting as well in Whisper of the Heart, one of my all-time favorite movies. It's interesting to think how everything is kinda connected like that. A baseball player doing anime work on the side. Very cool. Number 10. Ataru's name means sun, or daytime in Japanese. His last name, Moroboshi, means falling star. This could be interpreted as a reference to Ataru's bad luck, as well as his persistent try-again attitude throughout the series. Number 11. Ataru is almost quite literally indestructible. His body has been burned 34 times by Ten, electrocuted 190 times by Lum, and poisoned on more than one occasion by Ran or Cherry. He's been blown up, squashed, sat on, broken, crushed, and in some combination, all of these things dozens of times over. It's even teased in the comic by others about how abnormal Ataru's physical resilience is. Though he does get bedridden with illness a lot, 9 times in total. This can only compare with his biggest weakness, infidelity. But that's a topic for another day. And finally, number 12, which is that Ataru can be quite the gentleman. He has a side to his personality that is romantic but not in the least bit perverted. Rather, he can be gentle and chivalrous and self-sacrificing to the point of putting his own life in peril for others, such as when he spends a whole week trying to help a girl who is cursed by a rain spirit, or when he goes on a date with a ghost girl as her last wish before ascending to heaven. In these moments, we see a different side of Ataru that reminds me of what a good person he can be deep down. And I think honestly, that's why his character is so interesting. Instead of just being a black and white scumbag with no moral compass, Ataru is many things, good and bad. I went over it a bit more in my bigger Urusei Yatsura video, but Ataru is human. And one of my favorite things has been seeing his progression from a perverted idiot to, well, a perverted idiot, but with emotional depth and a deep love for Lum and his family. But that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know any other facts you find cool about Ataru, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.